The Mason Whitfield wedding represented everything Olivia Parker had left behind when she walked away from her family's fortune and expectations. Crystal champagne flutes, string quartet playing Pechelbel, flower arrangements worth more than her monthly rent. All painfully familiar trappings of the world she'd deliberately exiled herself from 3 years ago. Yet here she was, shifting uncomfortably in a borrowed dress at a corner table, watching her cousin Charlotte marry into another dynasty of old money and older prejudices. The invitation had arrived unexpectedly, an olive branch from her mother perhaps, or more likely a calculated move to showcase the family's bohemian black sheep to satisfy gossiping society matrons. Either way, she had accepted, a decision she now regretted profoundly as she endured barely disguised whispers and pitying glances from former friends who'd chosen conformity over authenticity. The empty chairs surrounding her table, clearly designated as the singles wasteland, only amplified her isolation. "This seat taken?" The deep voice startled Olivia from her self-pity. She looked up to find a stranger standing beside her table, tall, broad-shouldered, with features that balanced rugged and refined in a combination that didn't quite fit the country club setting. His expertly tailored suit couldn't quite disguise an intensity that seemed at odds with the bland perfection surrounding them. "All 10 of them are available," she replied with a gesture toward the empty chairs. "Apparently I've been quarantined from the respectable guests." When the president of the notorious Steel Wolves Hells Angels chapter pulled out the chair beside hers and suggested she pretend to be his date for the evening, Olivia Parker had no idea she was about to become entangled in a dangerous web of revenge, rivalry, and unexpected connection that would challenge everything she thought she knew about belonging, loyalty, and her own capacity for both darkness and light. If you love forbidden love stories, subscribe and don't miss the next one. A slight smile crossed his face at her candor. Unexpected warmth in eyes she now noticed were an unusual shade of gray. "Perfect. I'm in need of strategic seating." Without waiting for further invitation, he settled beside her with the confident ease of someone accustomed to commanding space rather than merely occupying it. Up close, Olivia noticed other details that didn't align with the typical country club demographic. The faint scar bisecting his left eyebrow, the calloused knuckles as he reached for a water glass, the subtle vigilance that seemed to track movement throughout the reception without ever appearing obvious about it. "I don't recall seeing you at the ceremony," she observed, curiosity temporarily displacing her social discomfort. "Just arrived." His attention remained on the room rather than her, assessment rather than rudeness. "Business delayed me." "Important business at the Westlake Country Club on a Saturday?" Olivia couldn't quite keep the skepticism from her voice. "Let me guess. Golf tournament ran long?" This earned her his full attention, gray eyes shifting to study her with unexpected intensity. "Not a fan of the setting?" "Let's just say I've attended enough country club weddings to last several lifetimes," she replied, lifting her champagne in a small toast to her own cynicism. "The conversations are as stiff as the napkins." His laugh, genuine rather than polite, caught her off guard. Refreshingly direct, rare quality in these circles. "Hence my isolated table assignment," Olivia noted dryly. "Truth-telling isn't valued in environments built on appearances." Something like recognition flickered across his features. Not physical familiarity, but rather understanding of a kindred perspective. Before he could respond, the wedding planner appeared tableside, clipboard clutched like a shield against potential disorder. "Mr. Stone," she addressed Olivia's unexpected companion with professional deference tinged with unmistakable nervousness. "We weren't expecting you until the reception. The bride's father mentioned you might not make it at all." "Change of plans," he replied simply, offering no further explanation. The planner's gaze shifted to Olivia, confusion evident as she consulted her immaculate seating chart. "And you are?" "My date," the man, Stone, stated before Olivia could answer. His hand moved to cover hers on the table with casual possessiveness that should have triggered immediate objection. "I should have mentioned I wouldn't be coming alone." The wedding planner's discomfort intensified visibly, her gaze darting between them and toward the head table where Charlotte's father was engaged in animated conversation with silver-haired men in nearly identical suits. "Of course, Mr. Stone. I'll have the kitchen informed of the additional guest." She retreated with the stiff-shouldered posture of someone delivering unwelcome news to a superior. Olivia waited until the woman was safely out of earshot before extracting her hand from beneath his. "Presumptuous, don't you think? Declaring me your date without consultation?" "Strategic," he countered. "Unrepentant. You're clearly looking to disturb the careful social choreography. I have similar objectives. Temporary alliance benefits us both." The frank assessment, accurate though it was, momentarily silenced Olivia's objection. She had indeed attended partly to disrupt the perfect narrative her family preferred to present to their social circle, and something about this stranger's presence had already accomplished what her mere attendance could not. Genuine discomfort among the wedding coordinator, and judging by the increasing glances from nearby tables, the other guests as well. "You still haven't introduced yourself," she pointed out, curiosity overriding indignation. "Dominic Stone." He offered his hand formally, the gesture at odds with his earlier presumption. "Olivia Parker." She accepted the handshake, noting the controlled strength in his grip. "I know." His simple acknowledgement sent a chill of unease through her. At her evident alarm, he elaborated. "Your name tag on the table, and the family resemblance to the bride is evident." The explanation was reasonable, yet something in his tone suggested layers beneath the surface, knowledge or purpose beyond coincidental seating arrangements. "So, Dominic Stone," she began, studying him more carefully. "What brings you to my cousin's wedding? Business contact of the groom? Distant relative of the bride? Let's say I have a long-standing arrangement with the Whitfield family." His answer revealed nothing while implying significance. "One that occasionally requires my presence at family functions." Before Olivia could press for clarification, the string quartet transitioned to the familiar notes of the wedding march. Conversation ceased as guests turned toward the entrance where Charlotte and her new husband prepared to make their grand entrance as a married couple. "Fair warning," Dominic murmured close to her ear as they stood with the other guests. "My presence here will create reactions. Staying beside me makes you part of that narrative." The statement, part warning, part invitation, should have sent Olivia retreating to safe distance. Instead, she found herself intrigued by this unexpected disruption to what had promised to be an exercise in elegant misery. "I abandoned concern for family narratives 3 years ago," she replied, matching his quiet tone. "Your warning's about 3 years too late." Something like approval flickered across his features. "Then let's give them something to discuss besides floral arrangements and honeymoon destinations." As Charlotte and her husband entered to polite applause, Dominic's hand settled at the small of Olivia's back, proprietary, calculated, an unmistakable message to observers that they were together. The touch should have triggered immediate rejection. Instead, Olivia found herself leaning slightly into the contact, embracing the role of co-conspirator in whatever game was unfolding. What she couldn't have known was that the game had begun long before her arrival, a dangerous intersection of vendettas, territorial disputes, and family secrets that would soon engulf her despite Dominic Stone's initial intention to merely use her as convenient camouflage. By the time the wedding cake was cut, both their lives would be irrevocably altered by forces set in motion years before either entered the reception hall. The dinner service proceeded with excruciating formality, crystal tinkling against china, rehearsed toasts delivered with practiced emotion, servers gliding between tables with choreographed precision. Throughout it all, Olivia remained acutely aware of Dominic Stone's presence beside her, his subtle surveillance of the room, the occasional brush of his arm against hers, the low murmur of his voice when he leaned closer to make observations. "The father of the bride hasn't stopped watching us since we sat down," he noted during the salad course, voice pitched for her ears alone, "though he's trying to appear occupied with the congressman's wife." Olivia discreetly glanced toward the head table, where her Uncle Richard indeed seemed unusually attentive to their corner. Uncle Richard has spent his life perfecting the art of appearing to do one thing while actually doing another. Useful skill for investment banking and family politics. And what exactly is he concerned about regarding our table? Dominic asked, genuine curiosity evident beneath casual inquiry. Family disappointment seated with unexpected guest. Mathematical equation with too many unknown variables for his comfort. Family disappointment? Dominic repeated, eyebrow raised in elegant skepticism. Seems unlikely. The assessment caught Olivia off guard. Most people in her former social circle treated her career change as either tragic fall from grace or performative rebellion. I abandoned promising corporate law career to teach art at public elementary school, she explained. Unforgivable waste of expensive education and family connections according to Parker family doctrine. Chose purpose over predetermined path. Unforgivable indeed. Their conversation was interrupted by a man whose expensive suit and artificial smile immediately categorized him among Charlotte's husband's banking colleagues. Olivia Parker, he greeted her with practiced charm that didn't reach his eyes. I hardly recognized you. It's been what, 3 years since you left Harrington and Wise? Partner track one day, gone the next. Quite the topic of discussion for months. Before she could respond, Dominic shifted subtly beside her. And you are? He inquired, voice pleasant but carrying undertone that immediately commanded the man's attention. James Westbrook, the banker replied, extending his hand. Century Capital Partners. Dominic accepted the handshake with deliberate firmness that made Westbrook wince slightly. Dominic Stone, Steel Wolves Enterprises. The corporate nomenclature triggered immediate recognition in Westbrook's expression. His complexion paled noticeably as he withdrew his hand with poorly disguised haste. Stone, of course. I didn't realize you and Miss Parker were recently acquainted, Dominic supplied smoothly, his arm settling across the back of Olivia's chair, finding we have compatible perspectives on numerous topics. Westbrook retreated with mumbled pleasantries. Once safely beyond earshot, Olivia turned toward Dominic with raised eyebrow. Steel Wolves Enterprises, creative corporate branding for motorcycle club. Dominic's expression revealed momentary surprise before settling into careful assessment. You recognize the reference? Difficult to teach in East Riverside without awareness of major territorial influences, she replied. Steel Wolves control distribution channels throughout district where my school is located. The acknowledgement hung between them, her recognition of his outlaw affiliation paired with notable absence of expected fear or judgment. Most people from your background would be running for security at this revelation, Dominic observed, not calmly discussing territorial boundaries over wedding canapes. Most people from my background haven't spent 3 years teaching art to children who navigate organization territories daily, Olivia countered. Reality looks different from East Riverside Elementary than from Westlake Country Club. Dominic's smile transformed his features from merely handsome to something more compelling. Perspective shift changes everything. The dinner service transitioned to the first dance, guests migrating toward the floor. Olivia remained seated until Dominic rose beside her, hand extended in invitation. Maintaining narrative cohesion requires participation in key ritual elements, he explained with hint of humor. My strategic objective requires visibility among specific guests who will be watching. Olivia accepted his hand with matching directness. Convenient alignment with my objective to demonstrate comfortable social participation despite family disapproval. Dominic guided her with unexpected grace, his hand at her waist providing firm direction without controlling pressure. You move well for someone I'm guessing didn't attend cotillion, Olivia observed. Military training transfers to unexpected contexts, he replied. Though Sergeant never included wedding receptions among tactical applications. You still haven't explained your connection to the Whitfield family, Olivia noted as they completed another turn. Or why you specifically chose my table. Something shifted in Dominic's expression, calculation replacing casual engagement. Before he could respond, sudden commotion near the entrance disrupted the atmosphere. 3 men in dark suits entered with purposeful stride, their positioning immediately distinguishing them from wedding guests. Dominic's posture changed instantly, relaxed dancing form transforming to tactical readiness, hand at Olivia's waist, guiding her smoothly toward the ballroom's edge. "Unexpected development," he murmured, gaze tracking the newcomers. "Security detail, not law enforcement. Private rather than official. Looking for someone specific," she observed. Teacher's experience with playground dynamics translating to adult surveillance patterns. "Looking for me," Dominic corrected quietly. "Timing suggests information leak regarding my presence." "There's a service corridor behind the portable bar," Olivia said without conscious decision to assist. "Leads to kitchen and staff exit." Dominic's gaze shifted from the security team to Olivia with newfound assessment. "You're providing escape route information to known criminal element you met 30 minutes ago?" "I'm providing navigation options to dinner companion, who made unbearable social obligation unexpectedly interesting," she corrected. "What you do with information is your decision. Once they confirm we were together, you'll face questioning," he warned, "potentially unpleasant depending on their employer's concerns." Decision required mere seconds despite potential consequences. "Then it seems both strategic objectives require continuation of current narrative," she replied. "Service corridor awaits." His hand found hers with firm confidence as he guided her casually toward the bar area, while maintaining relaxed posture that avoided triggering immediate attention. As they moved through the kitchen, staff too busy with dessert preparation to question their presence, Olivia recognized fundamental transformation in the evening's trajectory. Whatever temporary alliance had formed had evolved beyond simple social disruption into active collaboration in Dominic Stone's evasion of private security forces. The service yard appeared as described, delivery trucks alongside luxury catering vans. Dominic paused at the threshold, scanning for potential security before committing to exposed position. "You should return to reception," he said. "Create plausible deniability, powdering nose during security arrival, returning to find unexpected commotion." "Bit late for plausible deniability," she countered, nodding toward security camera above service entrance. "Besides, I'm curious what exactly happens next in whatever game you're playing with my extended family." The security door behind them burst open, private team having traced their movement through venue surveillance. The pursuit had evolved from discreet inquiry to active intervention. "Decision accelerated by developing circumstances," Dominic noted with professional calm. "Still interested in next chapter?" Olivia's response required no deliberation despite logical caution screaming for reconsideration. "Lead the way, Mr. Stone." Whatever game Dominic Stone played with the Whitfield family clearly involved higher stakes than social discomfort, and Olivia had just committed to participating without understanding rules, boundaries, or potential consequences. The black SUV moved with practiced efficiency through evening traffic, Dominic's driving precise without drawing attention, despite their abrupt departure from country club grounds. Olivia sat silently in passenger seat, mind processing rapid transformation from wedding guest to willing accomplice in security evasion. "You have questions," Dominic observed after several minutes, tone matter-of-fact rather than defensive. "Reasonable given circumstances." "Several dozen," she confirmed dryly, "starting with who exactly was pursuing you back there. Private security rarely mobilizes multiple operatives for simple wedding crasher. Whitfield Enterprises employs dedicated team for family protection and information management," he explained, attention divided between conversation and surveillance of surrounding vehicles. "Our history is complicated." "Complicated enough to warrant tactical extraction from family wedding?" "Extraction wasn't planned," he admitted. "Expected discreet observation rather than direct intervention. Escalation suggests change parameters. The professional assessment focused on tactical reality rather than emotional context, aligned with Olivia's observations of his controlled responses throughout evening. Whatever Dominic Stone did beyond motorcycle club presidency clearly involved operational thinking that exceeded typical outlaw stereotypes. "You mentioned arrangement with Whitfield family," she prompted when he didn't elaborate further. Dominic considered her for a brief moment before apparent decision. Security company I own holds contract protecting specific Whitfield commercial properties in East Riverside. Arrangement established after territorial negotiations 3 years ago. The deliberate phrasing suggested significant backstory beneath neutral terminology. Territorial negotiations likely translated to conflict resolution between legitimate business interests and motorcycle club operations, resulting in contractual compromise rather than continued confrontation. And attending Charlotte's wedding was what? Annual performance review? Olivia asked, piecing together fragmented information into coherent narrative. His slight smile acknowledged the attempt at humor despite serious context. Scheduled meeting with Richard Whitfield regarding contract renewal. Wedding provided convenient cover for discussion without business associates' awareness. Until security team arrival suggested parameters had changed, Olivia finished, recalling his earlier phrasing. Making your departure suddenly necessary. Dominic nodded once, professional respect evident in his response to her accurate assessment. Bringing unexpected guest complicates security response procedures. You provided tactical advantage beyond mere companionship. The explanation contained both clarity and continued mystery. Business relationship established between outlaw organization and corporate dynasty. Meeting disguised within social obligation. Unexpected security response suggesting shifted dynamics. None of which explained why Olivia Parker, family disappointment, had specifically entered his tactical calculations. You still haven't explained why my table, she observed, circling back to unanswered question from dance floor. Strategic seating, you called it? Dominic's hesitation lasted barely perceptible moment before apparent decision regarding information disclosure. Richard Whitfield's meeting request included unusual condition, verification of recent rumors regarding niece's activities in East Riverside School District. The connection clicked instantly. You were gathering intelligence on me? For my uncle. Confirming whether respected elementary art teacher with Parker family connection was establishing unauthorized contact with students involved in distribution networks, he clarified with surprising directness. Specifically, whether teacher might be attempting to influence territorial operations through classroom access. The accusation, couched in neutral terminology but clear in implication, momentarily stunned Olivia with its absurdity. My uncle suspects I'm using finger painting sessions to infiltrate drug distribution networks? Family black sheep suddenly teaching in district controlled by organization with which family business has complicated history. Dominic summarized with pragmatic assessment, creates pattern worth investigating from security perspective. Olivia's incredulous laugh contained equal parts outrage and genuine amusement at paranoid scenario. I teach art to 7-year-olds because watching children discover creative expression brings more fulfillment than corporate litigation. No elaborate revenge scheme or criminal enterprise involved. Assessment I provided Richard Whitfield after basic background investigation. Dominic confirmed with unexpected support of her position. Tonight was final verification through direct interaction before delivering conclusion. The revelation created complicated response. Professional respect for thorough operational process mixed with personal indignation at being investigated, all layered over strange gratification that Dominic had apparently defended her genuine motivations to suspicious uncle. So wedding invitation wasn't family olive branch, Olivia noted, another puzzle piece falling into place. It was surveillance opportunity. Likely dual purpose, Dominic suggested reasonably. Family dynamics rarely operate with singular motivation. The assessment, insightful regarding interpersonal complexity despite his apparent operational focus, added another layer to emerging understanding of Dominic Stone. Military background, tactical training, business operations straddling legitimate and outlaw worlds, and surprising perceptiveness regarding human motivation. Their conversation paused as Dominic executed series of practice driving maneuvers, multiple turns through residential neighborhoods, brief parking period for surveillance check, route adjustments suggesting security protocols rather than direct destination. Counter-surveillance routine, he explained without prompting, acknowledging her observation of pattern, standard procedure after unexpected extraction. Where exactly are we going? Olivia asked, practical question emerging through complicated emotional landscape of revelations. Secure location for situation assessment, Dominic replied, professional terminology masking what appeared to be genuine consideration. Unless you prefer immediate return to original destination, once pursuit confirmation complete. The question represented first genuine choice point since hasty departure from wedding reception. Continue unexpected adventure with dangerous man whose world operated by different rules than her previous experience, or return to familiar territory with its comfortable limitations. Olivia recognized pivotal decision requiring deliberate consideration rather than impulsive response. Assessment location sounds appropriate next step, she decided after brief contemplation. Given investment in narrative so far. Something like approval flickered across Dominic's expression, appreciation for decision process rather than specific conclusion. The vehicle continued through carefully selected route that eventually led to Waterfront District, where abandoned industrial infrastructure was gradually being reclaimed by specialized businesses, seeking character over conventional commercial spaces. Their destination proved surprisingly conventional. Renovated warehouse converted to upscale motorcycle customization shop, Steel Wolves Enterprises painted in elegant script above industrial entrance. Security measures were evident but unobtrusive. Cameras positioned with professional coverage, reinforced entry points, subtle lighting design eliminating blind spots. Workshops closed for evening, Dominic explained as security system acknowledged his electronic credentials. Private office provides appropriate location for discussion without interruption. The interior balanced functional workspace with unexpected aesthetic sophistication, vintage motorcycles displayed with gallery-like presentation, custom fabrication areas organized with surgical precision, design studio featuring both digital modeling stations and traditional drafting tables. Olivia's artistic appreciation registered quality beyond stereotypical expectations of outlaw motorcycle operations. Not what I expected, she admitted as they moved through main workspace toward private offices. More architectural digest than Sons of Anarchy. Dominic's genuine laugh suggested she wasn't first to make similar observation. Public perception serves strategic purpose, but operational reality requires different standards. His office continued unexpected aesthetic, industrial elements balanced with deliberate design choices, functionality enhanced rather than compromised by attention to detail. Olivia noted military commendation displayed without prominence but not hidden. Advanced technical certifications alongside motorcycle memorabilia, evidence of multifaceted identity beyond singular outlaw designation. To address immediate logistics, Dominic began once they were seated in conversation area, rather than behind imposing desk. Security team will have tracked vehicle departure, but standard counter-surveillance measures prevent direct pursuit. Electronic record of our exit means denying association is no longer a viable option for either participant. Meaning my uncle now believes his suspicions confirmed, Olivia concluded, following operational implications to logical conclusion. Family Black Sheep consorting with Motorcycle Club president represents pattern completion in his security assessment. Likely interpretation given limited information access, Dominic agreed with professional objectivity. Creates complicated dynamics requiring strategic consideration rather than reactive response. The analysis, focused on situational reality without emotional distortion, aligned with Olivia's legal training despite radically different context. Their unexpected collaboration had created immediate consequences requiring deliberate navigation rather than impulsive reaction. Assessment she found herself sharing despite limited understanding of Dominic Stone's complete operational context. So what happens next, she asked, practical question superseding complicated emotional landscape of evening's developments. Dominic considered her with measured assessment that suggested respect rather than calculation. Next steps depend on your preferred objective, damage control through established channels, deliberate narrative construction, or strategic ambiguity, allowing multiple interpretations. The options, presented without manipulation or pressure, reflected operational thinking translated to interpersonal context. Olivia recognized genuine choice point, where her decision would determine subsequent approach rather than predetermined outcome serving Dominic's exclusive interests. I've spent 3 years attempting to establish independent identity beyond family expectations, she reflected, thinking aloud rather than performing for audience. Tonight's developments complicate that objective while simultaneously creating unexpected leverage through their evident concern about potential connections. Strategic ambiguity offers maximum flexibility, Dominic suggested without directing decision. Established patterns suddenly disrupted create information vacuum. Others attempt to fill with projection rather than evidence. The tactical perspective, applied to personal situation with surprising relevance, triggered Olivia's analytical mind beyond emotional response to evening's developments. Perhaps unexpected alliance with dangerous man from different world offered opportunities beyond simple rebellion or predetermined narrative. I'm curious, she admitted, studying him with newfound assessment. What exactly does Steel Wolves Enterprises do beyond territorial management and security contracting? The question represented deliberate step beyond immediate situation toward deeper understanding of complex man, whose world had unexpectedly intersected with hers through bizarre family surveillance operation. Dominic's thoughtful pause suggested recognition of shift from tactical discussion to personal disclosure territory. Perhaps that question represents appropriate starting point for extended conversation, he replied with careful precision. If your interest in strategic ambiguity extends beyond immediate situation resolution, the invitation, professionally framed but containing unmistakable personal element, offered continuation beyond tactical necessity into territory of deliberate connection. Olivia Parker, former corporate attorney and current family disappointment, recognized fundamental choice point between returning to carefully constructed independent life or exploring unexpected pathway with dangerous man whose complexity increasingly intrigued her beyond rational assessment. I believe it does, she decided. Choice representing neither impulsive rebellion nor calculated advantage, but genuine curiosity about possibilities beyond predetermined pathways. Extended conversation sounds like logical next step in current narrative. Dominic's smile, genuine rather than tactical, transformed his features from merely handsome to compelling. Then perhaps we should start with proper introduction beyond wedding reception personas. As unlikely alliance between outlaw motorcycle president and corporate family disappointment evolved toward genuine connection, neither participant could anticipate how completely their separate worlds would eventually collide beyond evening's unexpected beginning. Act 3. The Truth and the Threat. Morning light transformed the Steel Wolves workshop into a gallery of gleaming motorcycles. Olivia watched from the doorway as Dominic concluded a phone call with controlled precision. 6 hours had revealed layers beneath initial impressions: his military background in special operations, engineering education, legitimate businesses alongside territorial management. In turn, she'd shared her journey from corporate law to teaching after witnessing a client burying evidence of environmental contamination in low-income neighborhoods. Security team has expanded investigation parameters, Dominic reported after ending the call. Digital surveillance activated on your personal accounts and movements. My uncle authorized surveillance on family member? Olivia's disbelief reflected the fundamental violation. Whitfield Security operates with significant autonomy regarding perceived threats, Dominic explained. Your association with me triggered protocols established during previous conflict resolution. Should I be concerned about more than family drama? She asked directly. Dominic considered this with evident respect. Whitfield Security employs former intelligence operatives with extensive resources. Their interest represents complication, requiring awareness rather than immediate alarm. That's not actually reassuring, Olivia noted dryly. Honest assessment rarely provides complete reassurance, he countered with a hint of humor. But appropriate awareness enables effective response. So what's appropriate awareness in current context? Digital security protocols, controlled communication channels, awareness of surveillance possibilities, he listed without dramatization. Practical precautions rather than paranoia. I have classes to teach tomorrow, she said, reality asserting itself. Children expecting Miss Parker to help with papier-mâché planets for science collaboration. Something softened in Dominic's expression. Then appropriate response includes ensuring teacher arrives prepared for artistic planetary creation. His support for her professional responsibility, prioritizing children's education alongside security considerations, revealed unexpected value alignment. "I should probably change before molding newspaper into Jupiter," she observed, evening gown incongruous for current context. "Practical consideration," Dominic agreed. "Your apartment likely under observation. Alternative options preferable." "I know someone who can help," she decided, reaching for her phone before reconsidering. Though contacting her might create complications. "Secure communication device available," Dominic offered, producing a smartphone with distinctive security features. Mia Rodriguez answered on the third ring. Olivia's law school roommate had maintained friendship despite their divergent careers, corporate litigation versus community legal aid. "Need favor without extensive explanation," Olivia began. "Clothing change and temporary transportation without standard channels." To her credit, Mia asked minimal questions before providing practical response. When she arrived 90 minutes later, Mia's assessment revealed lawyer's precision despite limited information. This explains Charlotte's frantic messages about family crisis requiring immediate intervention. Richard called emergency family meeting regarding Olivia's concerning associations. "Family mobilizing damage control," Dominic translated. Mia studied him with evaluative gaze. "You're significantly more articulate than wedding rumors suggested. Interesting discrepancy." "Deliberate discrepancy serves strategic purposes," he acknowledged. "Public perception rarely benefits from complete operational transparency." "I don't need explanations," Mia stated practically to Olivia. "But if legal representation becomes necessary, my office handles unexpected complications with appropriate discretion." "Appreciated," Olivia replied. "I'll explain when situation permits." After changing into practical attire suitable for both teaching and security considerations, Olivia recognized the larger shift occurring. Performance of expected roles replaced by authentic navigation of unexpected reality. "Your friend demonstrated impressive adaptation," Dominic observed as they prepared for departure. "Mia specializes in complicated situations requiring precise navigation," Olivia explained. "Her clients usually face institutional opposition rather than security operations, but similar principles apply." Dominic nodded with evident respect. Effective operators exist across different specializations. Recognition transcends contextual boundaries. As they finalized logistics, separate vehicles, coordinated routes, communication protocols, Olivia recognized the transformation in her perception since the wedding. Initial rebellion against family expectations had evolved through security complications into genuine connection with a complex man whose world operated differently, yet demonstrated values she respected. "Next steps remain your decision," Dominic stated as they reached the departure point. "Operational support available without directional pressure." "I think Miss Parker definitely needs to teach tomorrow's planetary art class," she decided, while maintaining appropriate awareness of developing circumstances. "Balanced approach," he approved. Maintaining established patterns while implementing security adaptations prevents escalation while preserving operational flexibility. As Olivia prepared to depart in Mia's vehicle, an unexpected moment transcended tactical planning. Dominic's expression shifted from operational focus to personal engagement. "Beyond current circumstances," he said with careful precision, "I find myself interested in continuing conversation initiated by wedding reception seating arrangements." Olivia considered implications beyond immediate security concerns, evaluating genuine attraction against complicated circumstances. "I share that interest," she acknowledged, despite complicated contextual variables. His smile transformed from tactical to genuine. "Complexity creates interesting navigation challenges and unexpected discoveries beyond established routes," she added with natural alignment. As they separated toward respective vehicles, neither could anticipate how quickly theoretical security concerns would transform into immediate threat, nor how their different skills would soon face coordinated opposition. requiring everything each could contribute to navigate the dangerous intersection of their previously separate worlds. Monday morning brought surreal contrast between normal routine and heightened awareness. Olivia guided 23 second graders through planetary creation while maintaining peripheral vigilance for surveillance indicators Dominic had identified during their security briefing. Papier-mâché Jupiter took shape under enthusiastic small hands as she scanned parking lot through classroom windows, noting black sedan with tinted windows maintaining position since morning drop-off. Secure phone vibrated with incoming message. Dominic's update confirming Whitfield security personnel monitoring school perimeter. His response contained no directive, simply information enabling her informed decisions rather than manipulative control disguised as protection. This operational respect increasingly defined their developing connection, professional recognition of her competence despite different backgrounds. Throughout weekend following wedding escape, communication had balanced security considerations with genuine personal discovery, tactical necessity creating foundation for unexpected alignment between their disparate worlds. "Miss Parker, is Jupiter supposed to have rings?" 7-year-old Eliza asked, momentarily pulling Olivia from security assessment to educational responsibility. "Saturn has prominent rings we'll create next," she explained, classroom engagement instantly superseding surveillance concerns. "Jupiter has very faint ring system we'll add with subtle glitter later." The transition between operational awareness and teaching focus represented new normal developing since wedding night. Dual consciousness, maintaining professional commitment, while navigating security situation beyond previous experience. Olivia found herself adapting with unexpected facility, analytical skills from legal training, transferring effectively to tactical domain despite different application. When dismissal bell rang, Olivia implemented protocol established during weekend planning, routine variation, subtle enough to appear normal while enabling counter-surveillance measures. Rather than immediate departure, she remained in classroom preparing materials for tomorrow's lesson. Timing shift creating space for security adjustment Dominic had suggested without demanding. Principal Matthews appeared at classroom door as students departed, concern evident beneath professional composure. "Olivia, do you have a moment? There's a situation requiring attention." The phrasing triggered immediate alert given current circumstances. "Of course. Classroom issue or administrative matter?" "Administrative office would be appropriate venue," Matthews replied with unusual formality, suggesting external pressure rather than genuine school concern. Secure phone activated with silent protocol previously established. Audio recording initiated through security application Dominic had installed. Transmission sent to predetermined monitoring channel without visible indication. Operational precaution implemented seamlessly within normal professional response as Olivia followed principal toward administrative offices. Richard Whitfield waited in conference room, Belgian suit and corporate authority incongruous against elementary school surroundings. His expression combined family disappointment with executive displeasure, controlling patriarch accustomed to problem resolution through financial leverage and institutional power. "Uncle Richard," Olivia acknowledged without feigned surprise or defensive posture. "Unexpected classroom observation seems outside your usual portfolio diversification strategy." The deliberate reference to business terminology established immediate context. Professional exchange, rather than family emotional manipulation. Richard's momentary recalibration confirmed effective approach, corporate calculation replacing paternal positioning in his response. "Professional concern supersedes family considerations given current circumstances," he stated with practiced precision. "Your associations create complications requiring immediate resolution." Principal Matthews's uncomfortable departure confirmed prior arrangement, administrative access granted through financial influence rather than educational protocol. Richard Whitfield operated within familiar paradigm, where institutional doors opened through monetary persuasion rather than procedural compliance. Fascinating interpretation of educational privacy regulations, Olivia observed, legal expertise asserting professional territory. Perhaps we should discuss specific concerns without administrative liability complications for Principal Matthews. The subtle legal warning registered effectively. Richard's reconsideration visible as he assessed approach against modified circumstances. When surveillance operation through family channels had transformed into direct confrontation, tactical parameters shifted beyond his anticipated engagement protocol. Your involvement with Dominic Stone creates significant security concerns beyond personal association, he began, corporate directness replacing familial manipulation. His organization operates with methodologies incompatible with Whitfield Enterprises' legitimate business interests. Interesting perspective given your security contract with Steel Wolves Enterprises covering East Riverside commercial properties, Olivia countered. Information from Dominic deployed strategically rather than reactively. Contractual relationship suggests operational compatibility rather than fundamental opposition. Richard's expression revealed momentary recalculation, intelligence awareness exceeding his expectation requiring tactical adjustment. Limited contractual arrangement differs fundamentally from personal association with organizational leadership. Security protocols exist for substantive reasons beyond corporate formality. Then perhaps specific concerns should replace generalized warnings, Olivia suggested with professional directness matching his approach. Operational clarity enables appropriate response assessment. The deliberate adoption of terminology familiar to both Dominic's security background and Richard's corporate environment created unexpected communication bridge, professional framework transcending family emotional manipulation that might otherwise characterize interaction. Richard's assessment shifted visibly toward executive decision rather than patriarchal direction. Stone's organization maintains historical conflict with Diamondback Coalition, controlling adjacent territories, he explained with unexpected operational transparency. Recent intelligence indicates potential escalation following leadership changes within Diamondback structure. Your association creates targeting vulnerability beyond previous security parameters. The disclosure, tactical information rather than manipulative warning, represented significant shift in approach. Richard Whitfield apparently recognized effectiveness of operational communication rather than emotional leverage given Olivia's demonstrated awareness beyond his initial assessment. Vulnerability assessment appreciated. She acknowledged with professional respect matching his tactical disclosure. Security protocols implemented with appropriate awareness level. Protocols designed by Stone, I presume, Richard noted with executive assessment rather than dismissive judgment. Operational effectiveness acknowledged despite methodological reservations. The unexpected professional recognition, tactical competence evaluated independently from social approval, revealed complexity beneath controlling patriarch persona Olivia had previously experienced. Richard Whitfield apparently maintained capacity for operational assessment, separate from family control mechanisms, when circumstances required pragmatic approach rather than hierarchical enforcement. Perhaps shared security interests suggest collaboration potential rather than oppositional positioning, Olivia proposed, strategic perspective emerging naturally from legal training, despite different application context. Operational alignment transcending historical limitations. Richard's consideration appeared genuine rather than performative. Executive assessment rather than predetermined rejection. Theoretical alignment potential requires substantive foundation beyond conceptual framework. Specific implementation parameters would necessitate unprecedented coordination structures. The response, corporate terminology containing unexpected openness to strategic innovation, suggested possibility beyond binary opposition between family expectations and personal autonomy Olivia had previously navigated. Richard Whitfield apparently maintained capacity for pragmatic adaptation when operational reality demonstrated effectiveness beyond predetermined organizational boundaries. Before conversation could develop further, secure phone vibrated with urgent alert pattern established during weekend security briefing. Dominic's message contained minimal text with maximum significance. Diamondback presence confirmed near school perimeter. Immediate extraction recommended. Security team approaching west entrance. The tactical update transformed theoretical discussion into immediate operational necessity. Whatever developing understanding might exist between corporate dynasty and outlaw territory, immediate security threat superseded conceptual alignment possibilities. It appears theoretical discussion requires postponement given developing circumstances, Olivia stated. Professionalism maintained despite sudden tactical escalation. Diamondback operatives reportedly approaching school grounds suggests immediate security response rather than organizational philosophy comparison. Richard's transition from corporate executive to security-conscious operator occurred with surprising speed, tactical awareness apparently extending beyond theoretical understanding into practical application when circumstances required. East parking lot compromised. Service entrance provides alternative extraction route. The immediate alignment, operational cooperation transcending previous opposition, demonstrated fundamental principle Dominic had articulated during weekend security briefing. Tactical reality frequently dissolves conceptual boundaries when survival requirements supersede philosophical differences. As they moved with controlled urgency toward designated extraction point, Olivia recognized profound transformation occurring beyond immediate security situation. The kindergarten art teacher and corporate dynasty patriarch now operated with shared tactical purpose, despite fundamental differences that had previously defined their relationship. Survival cooperation created unexpected alignment, transcending family expectations and personal rebellion that had characterized previous interaction. When Dominic's security team established rendezvous at service entrance, professional operators rather than stereotypical outlaw bikers, Richard Whitfield's assessment contained surprised respect rather than predetermined dismissal. Operational effectiveness apparently earned professional recognition regardless of organizational affiliation when demonstrated under genuine threat conditions. Extraction vehicles secured, Dominic reported upon joining them. Tactical focus primary despite evident surprise at Richard's presence. Primary and secondary routes established with appropriate counter-surveillance measures. The efficient operational update, delivered without territorial posturing or authority competition despite complicated history between organizations, demonstrated professional priority Olivia found increasingly defining her understanding of Dominic Stone beyond outlaw stereotype. When genuine security threat emerged, tactical competence superseded organizational rivalry and hierarchy of operational values. Whitfield's security team can provide additional resource coordination through established monitoring channels, Richard offered, with executive precision rather than subordinate positioning. Real-time intelligence sharing offers mutual tactical advantage despite historical operational differences. The proposal, collaborative rather than competitive despite apparent power dynamics, revealed capacity for pragmatic adaptation Olivia hadn't previously observed within family patriarchs' behavioral patterns. Richard Whitfield apparently maintained operational flexibility beyond controlling rigidity, when circumstances demonstrated clear advantage beyond predetermined organizational boundaries. Coordinated intelligence with operational autonomy, Dominic accepted with professional acknowledgement. Established communication protocols through secure channels with designated verification procedures. The rapid tactical agreement, focused on immediate security requirements rather than historical organizational dynamics, created unexpected alignment between previously opposed power structures. Corporate dynasty and territorial organization, temporarily unified through shared security interest, transcending philosophical differences that normally defined their interaction. As extraction vehicles arrived with professional precision, Olivia found herself navigating unprecedented convergence between previously separate worlds. Elementary art teacher, corporate family legacy, and outlaw territorial organization suddenly operating within shared tactical framework, despite fundamental differences in operational philosophy and organizational structure. Whatever developing connection existed between herself and Dominic Stone, immediate circumstances had expanded beyond personal relationship into organizational alignment that neither could have anticipated when she'd accepted wedding invitation or he'd selected strategic seating arrangement. As they departed school grounds through coordinated security extraction, Olivia recognized they had crossed threshold between separate worlds into unprecedented territory, where established boundaries no longer defined possible outcomes or relationship parameters. The fall of predetermined limitations had begun, for better or worse. The safe house reflected Dominic's operational philosophy: practical security without ostentatious fortification, Modern apartment overlooking industrial district with tactical positioning disguised beneath architectural design. Richard Whitfield's surprising presence created unprecedented configuration. Corporate patriarch, motorcycle club president, and elementary art teacher establishing temporary alliance against external threat, rather than navigating internal opposition. Diamondback surveillance indicates coordinated intelligence gathering rather than immediate strike preparation, Richard reported. Corporate precision applied to security assessment as he reviewed data on secured tablet. Pattern suggests strategic evaluation rather than tactical engagement. Consistent with leadership transition protocols, Dominic agreed. Professional acknowledgement transcending organizational boundaries. New command structure establishing territorial parameters before operational decisions. Olivia observed their interaction with analytical perspective developed through legal training. Power dynamics temporarily reconfigured through mutual security interest despite fundamental differences in organizational philosophy. The alignment revealed complexity beneath surface opposition that had previously defined her understanding of both men's worlds. Appropriate response requires graduated security implementation without provocative escalation, Dominic continued. Tactical assessment directed toward practical application rather than theoretical positioning. Maintained routines with enhanced protective measures rather than complete operational disruption. Educational responsibilities preserved with modified parameters, Olivia translated, understanding immediately forming between personal priorities and security requirements. Students shouldn't lose art education because teacher attracted complicated attention. The balanced perspective, professional commitment maintained within security framework, earned respectful assessment from both men despite their different operational backgrounds. Priorities establishing education alongside safety resonated beyond organizational differences, creating unexpected values alignment transcending surface opposition. Implementation requires coordinated resources beyond separate organizational capacity, Richard acknowledged with executive pragmatism, replacing family control patterns. Temporary operational alignment serving mutual security interests despite historical territorial limitations. The proposal, alliance rather than opposition, represented fundamental shift beyond wedding reception confrontation or school extraction. Corporate dynasty and motorcycle club establishing collaborative framework rather than competitive positioning created unprecedented configuration neither had anticipated when Olivia accepted wedding invitation. Formalized parameters with defined operational boundaries, Dominic agreed. Professional respect evident despite complicated history. Mutual advantage through coordinated intelligence without organizational integration. Their rapid negotiation, focused on practical effectiveness rather than power positioning, demonstrated unexpected alignment beneath surface differences that had previously defined their interaction. When security reality demonstrated clear mutual advantage, both men apparently maintained capacity for pragmatic adaptation beyond predetermined organizational limitations. Perhaps misalignment between family expectations and personal decisions created unexpected opportunity rather than unfortunate complication, Olivia observed, perspective expanding beyond individual journey to organizational implications. Boundaries sometimes require challenging before effective reconfiguration becomes possible. The assessment, applying personal experience to organizational dynamics, earned thoughtful consideration from both men despite their different operational contexts. Family disappointment had inadvertently created bridge between separated power structures that might otherwise have maintained predetermined opposition without recognition of potential alignment serving mutual interests. As security protocols were established through professional coordination, rather than competitive positioning, Olivia recognized profound transformation extending beyond immediate situation. The elementary art teacher had somehow catalyzed unprecedented reconfiguration between corporate dynasty and territorial organization that neither would have considered possible through conventional interaction channels. Integration beyond immediate security concerns requires substantive foundation through demonstrated reliability rather than theoretical alignment. Richard noted with executive precision that nonetheless contained unexpected openness to conceptual innovation. Operational effectiveness establishes possibility framework for expanded coordination parameters. Practical results, determining potential development rather than predetermined limitations. Dominic agreed. Professional perspective aligning, despite different terminology and organizational context. Evolutionary approach through demonstrated value rather than revolutionary restructuring. Their unexpected consensus, measured progression through proven effectiveness rather than ideological commitment. Created framework extending beyond immediate threat response toward potential future configuration neither organization would have previously considered viable. Corporate pragmatism and operational adaptability. Finding common implementation methodology, despite fundamental differences in organizational philosophy and historical positioning. Perhaps art teacher perspective offers implementation advantage through creative framework application, Olivia suggested. Professional experience translating between different operational languages with natural facility. Established patterns reconfigured through alternative perspective rather than conventional opposition. The contribution, conceptual rather than tactical, earned genuine consideration from both men despite different organizational backgrounds. When operational reality demonstrated potential advantage beyond conventional configuration, both apparently maintained capacity for innovative adaptation rather than predetermined rejection of unconventional methodology. 6 months later, Olivia Parker sat in her classroom after hours, elementary art projects covering walls around her as she reviewed security briefing on secured tablet. The temporary alliance established during Diamondback threat had evolved into unprecedented operational framework, corporate resources and territorial management, creating coordinated security implementation throughout East Riverside District, while maintaining separate organizational structures and philosophical approaches. Elementary school art program had expanded through Whitfield Foundation funding without corporate control mechanisms, while Steel Wolves security operations gained legitimacy through formalized business structure without sacrificing territorial integrity. The unexpected alignment served mutual interests while respecting fundamental differences that defined separate organizational identities. Dominic arrived precisely as scheduled. Security protocols balanced with personal connection that had developed alongside organizational reconfiguration. Their relationship had evolved through careful navigation of complicated intersection between separate worlds. Professional respect establishing foundation for personal connection, rather than romantic impulse creating operational vulnerability. Security assessment indicates continued stabilization throughout district parameters, he reported. Operational update preceding personal engagement with characteristic balance between professional responsibility and developing relationship. Diamondback leadership transition completed without territorial aggression, following demonstrated alignment between previously separated operational structures. Peaceful coexistence through mutual advantage recognition rather than competitive opposition, Olivia translated. Legal precision applied to territorial dynamics with natural facility developed through months of cross-organizational communication. Unconventional alignment, creating stability beyond conventional security implementation. Their shared understanding, professional assessment balanced with personal connection, reflected relationship development beyond initial wedding reception, strategic seating arrangement. Elementary art teacher and motorcycle club president had established genuine partnership transcending separate worlds through mutual respect, rather than artificial integration or performance compliance. Richard requested Foundation Board position consideration for educational coordination specialist with territorial implementation experience. Dominic noted with subtle humor beneath professional delivery. Corporate terminology for elementary art teacher with motorcycle club president association. Olivia's laugh contained genuine amusement without bitter edge that had previously characterized her response to family dynamics. Creative framework application for unprecedented organizational reconfiguration. Exactly what professional disappointment specializes in implementing. Their shared perspective, finding humor in unconventional alignment rather than resistance to predetermined categorization, reflected relationship foundation built through mutual recognition beyond superficial differences. When initial opposition transformed into operational opportunity through circumstantial necessity, predetermined limitations dissolved through demonstrated effectiveness rather than theoretical rejection. Perhaps wedding reception strategic seating arrangement created unexpected catalyst for organizational evolution beyond initial tactical objective, Dominic reflected. Personal acknowledgement balancing professional assessment that typically characterized his operational approach. Temporary alliance establishing foundation for developing partnership through demonstrated value rather than predetermined configuration. Pretend date becoming genuine connection through authentic discovery rather than performance compliance, Olivia completed. Personal translation matching his operational perspective with natural alignment that had defined their developing relationship. As they left elementary school together, security protocols balanced with normal routine through practical implementation rather than disruptive operation, Olivia Parker recognized profound transformation extending beyond individual journey or organizational reconfiguration. The family disappointment and outlaw motorcycle president had established genuine connection transcending separate worlds through mutual recognition rather than artificial integration or categorical rejection. Wedding reception escape had somehow created pathway toward unexpected alignment that neither could have anticipated when bride's father arranged security assessment of family black sheep through strategic seating arrangement beside territorial organization leadership. The resulting partnership, personal and professional, demonstrated possibility beyond predetermined limitations when authentic connection replaced performance compliance as operational foundation. Sometimes pretending creates pathway toward genuine discovery beyond established boundaries, when temporary alliance reveals authentic alignment, previously obscured by conventional opposition. If this story touched your heart, subscribe and don't miss the next ride.